The Soyuz now at an altitude of 1,300 meters, all of its systems performing normally. Again, extremely overcast at the landing site and frigid temperatures of around 12 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill factor around 0 Fahrenheit. Soyuz Commander Yuri Malenchenko reported that at the time of maximum G-forces, the gravitational pull on the crew reached about 4.3 Gs during maximum G-load that occurred at 7:36 p.m. Central Time. Less than 1,000 meters now for the Soyuz until its touchdown point to the northeast of Arkelik.
Cross 900 meters, 850. Copy.
About a minute or so till touchdown. Standing by for confirmation of the touchdown. The Soyuz drifting under a thick deck of clouds at its landing site. We're standing by for confirmation of touchdown.
Contact ground 121,
This is Mission Control Houston. Touchdown confirmed. The front screen in the Russian Mission Control Center with the words Jest Posadka. They've landed. Expedition 33 is home. Suni Williams, Yuri Malenchenko, Aki Hoshide, touching down northeast of Arkalek at 7:56 p.m. Central Time. That's the unofficial touchdown time. 7:56 a.m. Kazakhstan time on Monday morning. The crew is home. And a good view of Yuri Malenchenko being extracted from the center seat in the Soyuz spacecraft. Malenchenko completing his 5th flight into space and a total of 642 days in orbit, placing him 7th on the all-time space endurance list. That coming on December 19th with the launching of Romanenko, NASA astronaut Tom Marshburn, and Chris Hadfield of the Canadian Space Agency. Suni Williams now in this video replay being extracted from the left seat as the board engineer from the Soyuz vehicle. Aki Hoshide obviously was the last to be extracted.
Смотри, японцев, держи.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're now getting live video of the crew. Cheers going up from the flight control team here in Mission Control. Good view of Suni Williams in frigid temperatures right outside of the spacecraft. It was an expedited extraction of the crew. Very quickly did the search and recovery forces arrive on scene to remove the crew. There's Soyuz Commander Yuri Malenchenko wrapped up in blankets and fur parkas. You can see in the background the first glimmer of daylight with sunrise coming up at the landing site in about 36 minutes or so. Suni Williams wrapping up her 2nd flight into space and a total of 322 days in space on her 2 missions. She conducted 3 spacewalks to emerge as the all-time leading female in terms of spacewalking time. Another view now of Yuri Malenchenko with a whopping 642 days in space on his 5 flights, putting him 7th on the all-time endurance list behind 6 other Russian cosmonauts. And our first look at Aki Hoshide, a brief view from the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. You can see every now and then a snow flurry or 2 at the landing site, but all in all, given this time of year, the conditions quite good. Cloud ceilings were reported at about 500 feet at the time of touchdown, reminiscent of some of the conditions that greeted Mike Fossum and his crewmates, Sergei Volkov and Satoshi Furukawa, when they landed just about a year ago.
Буквально несколько слов. Как у вас посадка происходила?
Великолепно, все прошло штатно, никаких проблем не было. Все очень точно получилось по времени, по месту. То есть системы все отработали исключительно. Мы очень довольны.
So once again, the crew was extracted very quickly from the Soyuz vehicle, which landed on its side. Touchdown occurring just 26 minutes ago, about 52 miles northeast of Arkelek. Once again, Suni Williams, the Expedition 33 commander. Within a few minutes, all three crew members will be hoisted in their reclining chairs and brought inside an inflatable medical tent to have their Sokol launch and entry suits removed. There's that familiar infectious smile of Suni Williams at the landing site. The video being relayed half a world away on a remote steppe in Kazakhstan. Aki Hoshide of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, completing his second flight into space. A total of 141 days in space for Hoshide, placing him third amongst all-time Japanese space travelers, behind Soichi Noguchi and Koichi Wakata, who will launch in late 2013, ultimately to become the first Japanese commander of the International Space Station.
Как дела? Если что-то будет беспокоить, сразу говорите, хорошо? Что, палатка еще будет?
Так. Нормально все. Идите от меня все на шаг. Командира не заморозили? Просят панораму показать. Назад отойдите, все на шаг. Камера стоит, не получится, скажи. Вот.
Continuing to receive live television from the landing site to the northeast of Arkelek, where the Expedition 33 crew, Yuri Malenchenko, Suni Williams, and Aki Hoshide, you see Malenchenko on the left, Williams on the right, at the landing site as sunrise approaches, the landing occurring 1 hour before daybreak at 7:56 p.m. Central Time, 7:56 a.m. Kazakhstan time, just to the northeast of Arkelek. The search and recovery forces were on the ground very quickly. The descent module landed on its side, but the crew was extracted within minutes, and flashing smiles, all three of them, as they are prepared to be hoisted to be brought into an inflatable medical tent to doff their Sokol launch and entry suits, get into more comfortable flight clothing, and then begin to proceed towards 3 respective helicopters for 2-hour flights back to the staging city in Kustanai. Now you can see a view of that inflatable medical tent and the harness to the parachute, the main parachute, and you can get a good idea now of the terrain and the landscape. Snow-covered, about 3 to 4 inches of snow fell at the landing site in north-central Kazakhstan over the past 48 hours. Malenchenko now in the process of being carried towards that inflatable medical tent, followed by Hoshide, Suni Williams to follow.
Да я сейчас надо на статью. Чума проклятая. Далеко ты будешь прилетели.
Suni Williams, the last to be carried towards the inflatable medical tent. The crew once again will get out of the Sokol launch and entry suits into more comfortable flight clothing, ultimately to board 3 individual helicopters for a 2-hour flight to Kustanai, Kazakhstan, just across the Russian border in northern Kazakhstan.